Well, hello. Welcome to Joe and Randy's Texas Tea. It's Randy. I'm back, bitches. Thought you could get rid of me? I don't think so. Anyway, we're here today with Joel.
Hey, bitches.
And our special guest, Mr. David White.
Mm-hmm. Miss White is giving us the signal.
And we have to do the song. We have to do the song. I wrote it. David White.
Which took so much thought and effort in his writing.
I'm so honored. Thank you.
It was all about it's all about the medley or melody.
Mm-hmm.
Melody.
I love the fact that Randy gave me that look of, yes, I know it was 2 words, but still.
In perfect
I wrote
harmony.
this bitch.
Thank you.
I want my songwriting credit.
Right? One of
Yes.
these days,
Mhm.
I'm going to make some money off this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm back for week 2.
Mm-hmm.
Week 2 indeed.
Week 2 indeed. Yes, ma'am. And we're Miss White, tell us what's going on with you, girl.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is a blessing. It really is. Because you know what? I do nothing myself. And I'll tell you something. Honey, I'm becoming a professional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not a good profession. But guess what?
Mm-hmm.
I need to get a job.
Sure
Everybody's
is
hiring out there.
good.
Look me up.
I need a job too, but I can't have one until I get my check. And I need my check, by the way. So,
And we did miss you on last week's episode, Miss Randy. So why don't you update the audience on what's going on with you? How you feeling?
My pressure, girl. You know I've got that high blood.
Mm.
And honey, it was 196 over 195.
What? Oh,
Bitch,
Lord.
I'm not lying. I can show you.
Mhm.
I will go home
Mm-hmm.
and, well, anyway.
Ain't nobody said that you lied.
Let me
girl.
tell you something. I was scared.
Mhm.
I wasn't scared. I was scared. And I'm like, let me just lay down.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided, I'm going to call the doctor
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did. And I actually didn't tell my mom
Mm-hmm.
or father.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Mom, I need to go pick up a prescription tomorrow. Will you take me to the doctor? And she said, sure. I went on up in there, and they amped up my blood pressure medication to 50 instead of a 25.
Everybody kept asking me, is he in the hospital? Because that blood pressure is pretty high. Everybody thought you were in the hospital.
Hell.
Everybody thought you might be in the hospital because...
No, I'm old school Southern.
Mm.
We just lay down and go, Lord, if you're ready to take me, take me.
She ain't ready.
That's the way. That's the way of the Southern people. Anyway,
She ain't ready, is she?
listen, God was not ready for me, and I wasn't ready to go, but I sure hit it.
And by the way, this is not a read, so I don't want you to take this as a read. But I feel like that Miss God said, you know what, I need to prepare for this bitch. So I'm not going to take her today. We need to get everything prepared.
Well,
and my nerves need to be prepared, and all kinds of stuff needs to be prepared. So we're not going to do that today.
Well,
We're going to give her a little bit of a scare because I need to have a little bit of a laugh. But for the most part, no, we ain't ready. We just not ready. I have to call out a couple of angels to make sure shit gets ready before I take her in.
Call us some favors.
I'm gonna have to pray for you about everything you just said, and I will. And I'll pray for you every night. But I'm gonna pray for you about.
Don't worry, audience.
That's blasphemy.
That's blasphemy 101. Don't worry, audience. Miss Pinky will be joining us shortly. She had to run some errands.
Yeah, she needed to pick up some Texas tea. And
So if you call Aaron, stop me at the liquor store. Jeez.
We call it Texas tea here, girl.
Okay, go on, girl, go on.
But anyway, so I'm excited about our topic
because we're gonna wax a little philosophical here about what determines a normal society. Now, I don't realize that this is way off the charts from what we normally do. Because I'm like I said, we are really getting into some deep conversation here.
Philosophical shit here.
Mm-hmm, some philosophical shit. Yes,
we're treading some deep water.
I thought about this while I was reading some very harrowing articles that I read, and I'm going to throw out some things here. The fact of the matter is that I read an article where the younger people, I'm not going to say millennials, I will say millennials, I guess.
No, because
because that's what the article said anyway, is that millennials, the numbers of they did a poll recently, and in the last 3 or 4 years, the number of straight millennials, and they did go with straight millennials, are not as accepting of the LGBTQ community as they used to be.
I read that article too.
Yes, they are not accepting, and I'm like, wait, where did that come? That just
it has been dropping. Like
it's been dropping. It's been dropping for the last 3 or 4 years.
But I thought it was also like if you reworded the question, then you got the opposite answer. Mm-hmm. So it was, but they asked the same question every year, and I forget how it was worded, but it actually acceptance of us had dropped from one year to the next. You can actually see where it's dipping.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
but I think, and here's my take on this: is I read the whole article. I'm not sure about it. I read the article on USA Today, and it didn't say this in the article, but my take is this is the culture that has not been created by people at the top. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know anything about what Donald Trump. I don't give a shit about what Donald Trump said.
The article didn't say that, but whenever I see things like these kinds of things are on the drop or on the rise in some cases, that kind of stuff, and it all goes back to look at what happened in Charlottesville.
Well, a couple of incidents came up where I read about a lesbian couple who were on the bus. Now, this happened in England. This did not happen here. In England, where a bunch of young kids tried to force 2 women to kiss on the bus, and then they beat them up when they didn't do so.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, here in the United States, a gay couple got beaten up by a bunch of young kids. And I'm like, so, wait, what is happening here? Right. Young kids, I thought they were more on our side than anything else. And according to the article that we were talking about, they were talking to millennials who were 18 to 34.
Well, millennials actually, from what I recall, stop at 29. 18 to 29.
But it's actually
29.
It's actually for millennials. It's 18 to 34, 35, something like that.
Well,
it was probably the same thing with us as Gen Xers. Are we considered
We're Gen X?
Gen X.
Yeah, it was 18 to 35 when they started doing surveys and all kinds of stuff. When we were talking about how we shopped, what we listened to, that kind of stuff.
But can we seriously say or pigeonhole millennials for what's going on with just regular people? You know what I mean? It's not like we are having marauding gangs of millennials going around beating up gay people.
No, I don't think
that the interpretation of millennials being responsible for these hate crimes, I think that's reaching. I honestly do. You know what I mean? It's just like you're going to find people who hate people
everywhere.
Always. Always. But when I worked in the restaurant that I worked in, I found that millennials, on the whole, had friends that were gay.
Yes.
Grew up with gay friends. Loved their gay friends. Counted them as the most, sometimes, as the most important members of their core group of friends because they were so cool. They were understanding. They were, they could talk from both sides. It's like, you've been there. the only gay guy at a party kind of situation where they just love us. That's I've only had positive experiences with millennials in that respect. So I can't imagine that it's a millennial thing.
No.
I think that the report was reaching, in my opinion.
Well, for my point of view, it's more on the lines of the fact that when I looked at this article and I thought about the future of the LGBTQ community, I always like to think that younger people will always be a bit more, I'm not going to say tolerant, but more accepting of the communities, and those numbers would be higher than they were. And to watch those numbers drop year after year after year is, I'm not going to say frightening, it's disturbing.
It's disheartening.
It really is. It's a bit disturbing because young people are the future of this country. And I want to think of the future of our community as being more accepting and more, what we talked about as being normal, to being normal members of society in the future.
I think though that we are working. I'm not working. You can't turn on the TV today and not see a representation of a male gay couple or a lesbian gay couple or lesbian gay. That's sort of redundant. But anyway, I love you lesbians, but you do like to stay apart from us for whatever fucking reason. Anyway, love y'all. Anyway, there's a representation of lesbians and a gay male couple on almost every commercial. And I think that's fantastic. I mean, it honestly puts it in the younger generation, the kids today. It puts it in their head that we're a loving, wonderful part of the population, and here we are.
Which kind of brings us to, I would want to see a breakdown of the study, see on the by age, how they got those numbers. And I know that generation tends to eschew labels, so they don't. I mean, I'm reaching here, but I mean, it could be that they're like, it's on the downhill slide because, and I'm trying to take the glass half full approach here, that it's not about labels, it's about people. Who cares, And so, I mean, I think that because that generation is known to be anti-labels, and so maybe we're just skewing the kind of way where it's like, who cares? Why are you even asking this question?
Yes, but I think the one part of that I found a little bit worrisome was the fact that the idea of someone in your family coming out as gay, and the fact that the numbers were lower for comfortability, I guess that's the word I want to use here. Being comfortable with someone who might come out in your family, and the numbers were a little lower, and I'm like, why would those numbers be a lot lower? That doesn't make sense to me. I would think that you wouldn't, if I'm 20-something years old.
I think it goes back to what I was just saying. It's all about the labels again. You decide, why are you coming out to me? You are who you are. I've known you my whole life. You've always liked guys. This isn't about you being gay. It's you being who you are. Again, going against the labels. I tend to
agree with you, David, on the glass is half full. And the fact that millennials don't like labels is, wow. That was sort of, a light bulb went off in my head when you said that. It's like, wow, that makes perfect sense.
Right. And I think that's why.
Yeah, because, millennials don't like labels, and they're just like, let's just have a good time.
Right. I think that's why.
I love that about millennials.
Yeah.
And by the way,
why do you have to put a label on what you are? You're you. I know who you are. Like, you're a relative of mine. I grew up with you.
Exactly.
I've known you've only
and I love
always been
you.
too.
So who cares who you love?
Right.
As long as you're loved.
You're like, you're you.
You're you.
Yeah.
And I think, and I hope, frankly, that the whole LGBTQ blah blah blah,
as I read the letters of the alphabet last week,
ends eventually, because I don't think
well, at some point everybody's going to be in the.
It shouldn't be that important, and a lot of kids today, like Jada Pinkett Smith's daughter Willow, came out the other day, so to speak. Not really coming out. But she said that she'd be willing to be a part of a throuple.
Mm-hmm. Polyamorous.
Yes.
Yeah.
And her brother,
who was already gender fluid himself,
had said that he's gender fluid. I think these kids who are under, the millennial status, and I think they call them Z. Anyway,
Generation Z.
The Z generation, they're all sexually fluid.
Mm-hmm.
And so, listen.
But once again,
I have no problem with sexual fluidity at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Honestly, my problem has always been with labels.
Mm-hmm.
My problem's always been with labels.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's like, oh, come on. Do we really need the cues?
I still,
you know what I mean?
I understand.
It's just a bit tiresome.
We didn't talk about this last week because, in my opinion, I'll be honest, it's out there in left field. But I don't have a problem with Pride Month and parades and festivals and everything. But wouldn't it be nice if they didn't have to exist?
Yes, it would.
I mean, we'll call it a humanity parade.
Yeah,
or something. I get why we have it, and I'm not I'm not thrashing it. No. But it would be a great time when we just don't have to have those anymore. When people are people, and we are who we are, and we don't have to have a parade. We don't have to commemorate 50 years of anything anymore.
Well, we just literally had our Pride Festival and parade last week.
Right.
It's still Pride Month, so Pride Month is still going on.
Yeah, no, And the frown on my face wasn't about our, what you just said, as much as it was a bit of what you just said was we just had our Pride. Houston has taken over. The city of Houston has taken over Pride, and it's disgusting. And I'm just disgusted. It's not Pride, gay Pride in Houston. It's Houston Pride. It just makes me sick.
Actually, it's Pride Houston.
It's
actually Pride Houston now.
It's like, come on.
But on like David had just said, the idea of it being just
and there you go.
Just Pride Houston.
For re-election, so.
It just being just Pride Houston is actually a step in the right direction because it literally encompasses everyone.
I don't want everyone.
Yes. They
need to move it to November when it's cooler.
Yeah, exactly.
It's too damn hot.
I would prefer.
I'm a purist when it comes to the parade. I haven't been in 30 years.
I get why where it is, but it's hot outside.
What I'm saying is, I don't care.
It's too damn hot.
No, I don't care anymore. It's too damn hot.
It's if you got there for the festival starting at 11:30. So if you got there say 12:30, and then the parade starts at 8. But you're dead ass being exhausted. Even out in the sun all that time. Dehydrated? Girl.
Somebody hand out some water.
I'd be like, I cannot do this anymore, girl. No.
I'm too old for the shit.
Get a room at the Hyatt. Cool off.
I'll let the young people have it. And I'm done. Well, this is the last time I'll say anything about the Gay Pride Parade because, bitches, I haven't been in 30 years.
Until next year.
I will not. No, I'm done. And I'll let the millennials have it. And guess what? The millennials are going to do the right thing.
Get rid of it?
Which is get rid of it.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I think, that it's, here's something to look at.
Not millennials in a bad way.
No.
But
look at it's not going to happen. Here's why. It's not going to happen. It has become too much of a marketing ploy. And if you go on Facebook and if you look at all of these corporate United and Armour, Under Armour and all that, all of them have, even Wells Fargo and Sprint, they all have the rainbow flag incorporated into their logo somehow.
Yes.
So it becomes like it's a marketing ploy almost to say that, look at us, we're all equal because we have rainbow colors in our logo or whatever. So
David, I have to say something that Joel said last year. He said, I went to the parade, girl. There were roofing companies and all this,
it's true.
Business, all these businesses handing out flyers and shit. And I'm like, what?
Coupons.
No,
Remember when they used to just hand out condoms? Remember those days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now it's kid friendly. They've got kid events.
Now they hand out business cards and
so it's just so convoluted now.
It's especially I don't know if you've been to the festival. We went to the festival, I guess 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It is just I don't know how to describe it. It's just corporate America gone rainbow. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I mean, there's all these tents and all these,
the best
it's all these tents and everything, and they're, local radio stations, and it's just, it's almost
too much.
Yeah, it's almost too much.
Well, I love the fact that the young people are actually starting to step up now and say, wait a minute, all these corporations coming in, and they literally did an article about 9 corporations who have been a part of gay pride, but also give money to anti-gay Congress people and this and that. So it's really starting to be called out now that if you're going to be a part of this, then you can't support the other group at the same time. It's really starting to be called out now because young people are really starting to say, hey, it's nice, Wells Fargo Bank, that you want to come in and be a part of the parade. But if you're giving money to senators who want to, make sure that we don't have any rights for stuff, then what is the point of you being there? I'm not calling out Wells Fargo. I'm just using Wells Fargo as an example. Well, but I'm just
sound like you're calling out Wells Fargo to me.
I know because I see Wells Fargo. I've seen Wells Fargo at every parade for the last 4 years.
Well, but you have to be careful if Wells Fargo ain't doing it wrong.
No. I'm putting. They got enough problems to worry about anyway. I am putting a disclaimer saying that I'm just using Wells Fargo as an example.
I remember, way back when I was on the Pride Committee. I was on the Pride Committee for 2 or 3 years, and I forget exactly how long. But before it became corporate. Really is what it was when I was on the parade. And it was much more organic then. It was much more grassroots, so to speak. And you had Walgreens and you had Kroger, and at the time you had H-E-B. They were all in the parade, but it was less Coors Light, less Bud Light, and more like
regular restaurants.
Organic, right. It was just, but now.
You remember Roberta, he went every year with the veterinary clinic that he worked at. Which was Montrose Clinic. 1 year, he didn't work at Montrose Clinic. Before then, he worked at Baba Yaga, and he was on the Baba Yaga float. There were local businesses.
Yeah, exactly.
Local floats.
The skate club.
Yeah, the skate club.
I was
and all
with
that
them.
other stuff. So it was all local stuff.
Yeah.
And now
I remember mining company always had the big bulldozer. With guys dancing in it.
Yeah. That's back in the day when I actually went.
Those were the days, too.
That was during the day. And then, I have to be honest, girl, I would skate over, get to the bar when it was nice and cold, get to the mining company, get on a stool, girl,
and just judge.
And cold. And just drank my ass off, and then everybody would show up. That'd be red.
When mining company, we had to get the judging seats so we could judge people.
Yeah, judging seats.
Mining company, yes.
For those of you in other parts of the world, and I actually want to throw this out here. I don't know what is going on in Saudi Arabia that you are listening to us, but thank you, Saudi Arabia.
You go, girl.
You go, girl.
You know what?
It's a small percentage. It's like 0.95 or 93%, but the fact that you are brave enough to listen to the show in your country, good for you, girl.
Listen,
good for you, girl.
I'm not going to call you girl because I like men. So if you're from Saudi Arabia and you're coming to this country, call me.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
I don't want no girls.
Girl, now I'm going to make myself a Texas tea. And I want to really, the thing is that as much as we've talked about pride, and this being Pride Month, there was something shocking. I'm sure they can't hear me, so I'm going to have to come back in here.
No, you're fine.
But there was something shocking. I asked a couple of young people, do you know why the Pride Parade is held at night? And not one of them could answer that question. Do you guys remember why the Pride Parade went from daytime to nighttime?
Well,
I think I knew at one time, but I can't remember.
I've never known, other than the fact that it's hot as hell.
Even at 9:30
But
at night.
at night, it's hot as hell.
hot as hell,
so do tell, darling.
Okay. I'm done making my Texas tea. Okay, so
fasten your lid.
I'm coming back to the seat, girls. I'm coming back to the seat. Okay, so the reason why Pride went from being in the daytime to nighttime was because that a lot of the queens, when we were coming out, a lot of the queens had AIDS, and it was too hot for them to be out there. So the Pride Committee decided to do it at night because they thought it would be a little cooler and they would be able to handle being able to be out and enjoying the Pride Parade.
Well, I didn't know that, and I think that's very sweet. However,
it's still hot.
It's still hot as hell, and that was a very misguided decision.
I don't know if it's misguided, but it's still hot as fuck.
But
well, not misguided, but the truth is, it's hot as hell and humid as fuck.
But we all say it's out there 8:30, 9 o'clock. It's still hot as hell out there.
But we all remember when it was during the day. The Pride Parade used to happen in the daytime.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, it used to happen in the daytime.
That's
and
when I would cross
AIDS,
the street and go to the mall and go back.
And we were young, so when the AIDS epidemic was in full force at the time, a lot of our sisters couldn't stand the daytime heat, so they moved it to nighttime so that those sisters could enjoy the parade at night because, yes, Houston is hot day and night, but at least it was a tad bit cooler at night.
No sun. It's still hot.
There was no sun.
It's still hot.
Yeah. So a lot of these girls would, they already had sarcoma on the skin and all this other stuff. So sunburn was a big issue.
Well, I have a solution to all this. Just move it to November.
Mm-hmm.
I like that solution.
I like that solution.
It doesn't, we're nothing if not traditionalist, if that's even a word. In the gay community,
but
it's all about Stonewall, bitch.
Right? And I get why it is when it is, but I'm saying like Dallas Pride is in what, October, I think, maybe November, I forget. And I know that like Palm Springs is later in the year too. So it's not
happens in. I don't think it happens during the Pride month. I think it happens in the cooler months.
I've been to Hot Atlanta.
Yeah, I think Hot Atlanta happens during the cooler months.
It was back in the day.
I know that
when
we were going to go, when David and I were going to go to Orlando for their Pride was in October, if I remember. Because we were going to take the trip to Orlando.
Was it? I thought it was in. I don't remember when it was.
I think it was in October.
We lost out on those tickets.
I know. Hurricane came around.
Matthew, I think it was.
Damn hurricane.
Oh, so it wasn't October. I think it was late September or something like that. But I knew that it was in a month that might have been a little bit cooler, and it wasn't Pride Month. So,
I think perhaps
it was the first week of October.
It's never going to happen, but I think perhaps it would be a good idea in Texas, like David said, if we do it a little later in the year when it's a little cooler, and just say, out of respect for Stonewall, boom, we're going to have Pride.
And like I said, I was a little shocked that a lot of young people didn't not know why that the Pride Parade was at night. I'm actually a little shocked that you bitches didn't know.
I think I knew it. I just
tucked
it away to that news you'll never need again.
I knew it was because they thought it would be cooler, but I didn't know there was this element of people who had AIDS that they were considering people who had AIDS.
I remember.
I think that's very nice.
I recall talking.
Any dumbass knows that they started at night because it would be cooler, quote
they
unquote.
Still have the festival during the day, and by the way, it's still hot as hell during the day. So,
well, we didn't really, to be honest, we really didn't. The festival part didn't come around until they moved it downtown.
That's not true. That's not true. It was in Montrose. It was on Westheimer.
No,
it was on Westheimer.
I don't think that we called it a
when it was in Montrose.
It was on Westheimer because they used to block it off from.
Yeah, they used to block it off earlier.
There was the art
festival. That's what it was.
Westheimer Arts Festival.
Westheimer Arts Festival came at least
twice a year. I remember that.
Yeah, but it came right before, I think, before Pride.
Mm-hmm. I think it was right before Pride.
But there were, and when it was, but I understand where David's coming from because, you know, you could be confused because there were a lot of artists.
But there was a time
who were on Montrose.
Right, but even before that, I remember like shutting down.
They were on Westheimer.
They had shut down. Where's that street where McDonald's is? Right there, where there used to be. There's a Pizza Hut across the street.
You mean
Light Bulbs Unlimited? Light Bulbs Unlimited. But you have to go one way, and then you go towards right. That when you cross over Westheimer, that whole thing was blocked off. Mm-hmm. That was the festival.
Yeah.
In fact, they even made you pay 1 year to get in. You even had to pay to get in, and they've done away with that since. I thought it was stupid. You had to pay to get in so you could buy stuff. It was just ridiculous.
I know,
but now it's free. But I remember they had that whole. They used to have it before it was in. They used to still have the festival. Remember the big parade blow up thingies that are dancing off with the big parade things blow up. But they did
back in the good old days before the parade came on. They would allow artists to sell their goods on Westheimer.
Right, but they actually shut down Westheimer, like right there between, like right there where, like,
and so they would allow you before the parade went on. Artists did sell their wares, and you could actually drink on the street.
You could drink on the streets. I remember Body Shots right there in front of Slick Willie's, and I remember people walking around with snakes around their necks and shit. Like, ooh, get that thing away from me!
You know, I held the snake.
I do not care.
It was
disgusting.
It was not as disgusting as I thought it would be.
Pass.
Their skin is
they carry
much softer
E. coli
than.
and all.
I had a python, a yellow python. This woman was walking around with a yellow python on her shoulder, and I'm like. She wanted to me, and I was like, "Oh, I don't think I want to do that." She goes, "Just try it. You might like it." I put it on my shoulder. And first of all, pythons are heavy as fuck.
Well,
they are heavy as fuck. and the snake is looking at me like this in the eye. I'm sorry for the audience. Its head was turned right at me, looking at me dead in the face. I'm looking at it dead in the face, going, "Don't you even try." Put it on my shoulder, and I'm like, its skin is so nice.
No,
and I made the joke.
Oh, man.
And I made the joke, and I was like, this would make a fabulous pair of heels.
Wow. A yellow python would make a cute
pair of heels. You know, in Florida, they have
I got news for you.
You know, in Florida, they have a huge python problem because all these people keep buying this shit, and then they don't want it anymore, and they throw it in the swamp. And they have a huge problem with that now. So if you want to get a pair of python shoes, just go to Florida, hunt down a python, make a pair of shoes out of it, get yourself a purse. Lord Peter is probably going to call me.
Yeah, they are. Let me give you her phone number.
And
we protested outside
the
my
Lord.
Going to call me and say, "No, you can't get E. coli from."
I'm just
You know what? Don't talk to me.
I'm just kidding.
No, he's just kidding, and I'm just kidding too. I don't know nothing about them.
No, they're not. I know them both.
Look, just don't listen. Y'all give all your shit to Joe.
I know one thing. If I gave y'all both python wallets for Christmas,
I would be like, "What the fuck am I going to do with this?"
Bitch, it's a wallet. You know what to do with it.
I wouldn't know the difference. Ain't nothing in it.
Girl, if it don't say Coach on it, I don't want it.
Nothing in it. No. In a damn way.
If it don't say Coach, I don't want
got nothing to put in it. Except, I don't know, shit. Nothing.
Ooh, Peter, please don't send me any.
If it don't say,
I was just kidding, Peter. Please don't send me any information on that. It was, I know that you love animals, but come on, y'all know it's too many of them, so we can take them out.
No, okay, you know
Jesus
what?
Christ.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, but
seriously, you can't do that,
girl. That don't make no kind of sense. I swear.
I'm just saying.
I don't, girl. Someone give you. Someone going to give you a someone will give you a wallet made out of rat skin. What are you going to say, girl? Good Lord.
I'm always concerned that someone's going to throw a Molotov cocktail through the window over here because we ain't even going to talk about the shit he said in the past. No, and not the shit I said in the past either. But don't nobody know where I live. Everybody knows where you live.
Everybody's been here. 2 o'clock in the morning.
No, you bitches did not. There is not anybody knocking on my door at 2 o'clock in the morning. I am asleep.
It's 1:30.
It's 1:30.
1:30.
Because he's out. By 2, he's out.
Yes, exactly. If you are not at my house by 1:30,
you're not getting
you're not getting in. So don't even bother.
Yeah.
Do not even bother. Good.
Y'all better leave my friend Joe alone.
All I'm saying,
no harm.
all I'm saying, if you ain't here about 2 a.m., he takes things into his own hands. That's all I got to say.
Bitches, it's time to take a break. Randy, lead us. No, you know what? Miss White, lead us out the break.
We'll be right back.
That's all you need to say.
That's all I said.
Sometimes I worry. You think,
Hey, we're back. Well, I'm here. Everyone else is back. I was a little late / on time for Pinky Time. I'm just getting caught up
because it's Pinky time.
It's Pinky Time.
that's not a thing.
I know that's not a thing. I was just.
I wish it would be a thing. That way I would have my own.
Hey, I want my own songwriting credits too.
Right?
Sorry, David White's song is mine.
Yes.
And ours and his. But
Sure do hate it.
So now we're about to get like super deep, super philosophical.
Balls deep, y'all.
Balls deep, y'all.
I love balls.
I know. So do I. So
Footballs and basketballs.
balls,
Soccer balls.
soccer balls,
Croquet balls.
Balls of yarn.
Croquet
Balls of
balls
yarn.
are too
Oh,
pretentious. Croquet balls are way too pretentious. I don't want to deal with
God,
that.
we could do playing cards.
I
of,
know.
I always do
men's
this stuff.
balls
I always say too
as
much.
they relate to
David, I
actual
always
balls.
say too much.
So
You
let's
listen to the show. I always overdo it.
So
All right.
let's talk.
My
about,
name is Randy, and I love hairy balls.
Okay, it's out there.
It's out there.
Damn it.
So let's talk about what defines a normal society. What does that mean for us at this table as a normal society? We hear this all the time in news, entertainment, all forms of media of what is defined as normal society.
Okay, well,
and how do we fit as gay men in a normal society?
all right. You know what? I don't know shit about how I fit in as a gay man in normal society, but knowing that this topic was coming on today, we're coming on for this topic, I did write something down because I sort of had an epiphany about this topic.
You mean an epiphany? Or
Who
wait,
is
you
she?
Oh,
I
you
know
said an Stephanie. Oh,
I know
okay.
Epiphany.
Oh, Lord, an Stephanie.
I know Epiphany. She lives in Allen Parkway, in the hood in Allen Parkway.
Okay, well, he had an
Anyway.
Good Lord.
I'm
I
about
had-
the Tiffany.
And Stephanie. I'm kidding, of course.
I had an Equandra.
No,
but you
sorry.
go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah, I had an
Now,
Equandra.
That's Epiphany's cousin. Anyway, so
Not a quandary.
what had happened
An
was
Equandra.
I had Epiphany's cousin's stepsisters, whatever.
Okay, you
Anyway.
go for that.
So I wrote it down. As gay men and women, I feel the war is won by we. Oh, shit. I can't even read my own handwriting. Anyway, gay normal. As gay men and women, I feel the war is won, but we still spoil for battle because it's all we have ever known. We're not ready to lay down our weapons for fear that we will have to pack up and get them ready again.
Oh, I like that.
Actually, it said pick up, but
That's fine. I
that's
like
my
that.
handwriting.
Mhm.
Again. Show it.
I like that.
Because we're gonna have to pick up our weapon. We're so used to not being accepted.
Mm-hmm.
And what if we were normal?
Mm-hmm.
And oh, what a blessing it would be! But
I am normal. I don't know about y'all, but I am normal.
Well, of course you're normal, and we're normal.
Mm-hmm.
But what he's, Joel's talking about, of course you know that. you're a very intelligent man. You know that. He's talking about people seeing us as
No, I get it.
normal. And they do. I think for the most part they do. But are we bored?
I think that
You know what?
I feel like that I maybe have not gotten this off on the right track. And I feel like that why when I watch everyone around the world talk about what is a normal society, when there's no such thing as the idea of a normal society. You cannot have a normal
utopia.
A normal utopia.
Right, is impossible.
Right.
Normality is
impossible.
An extrapolation of the menial common data. So in order to have a normal, there has to be the range. There has to be a you, there has to be a me, there has to be a them. And all of those players and all of those factors taken into consideration, added together, divided by how many components they are, get normal. The menial, most accepting, golden mean of behavior and everything else, the commonality. If you take an average of marbles and there's 2 to 1 of one color, if you're going to say normal is whatever the majority color, you say that's a bag of white marbles. It's a bag of blue marbles. Well, no, there's a few more in there. But yeah, it's normally, if you reach in there, you grab a white one. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
guess
I hear where you're coming from.
I guess that's the idea of what I would perceive as a normal society. In a way that I perceive normal society. Let's look at it. Let me break it down to you in ways that I know that I feel like what that is. A normal society is one, man, woman has child, they raise their child, blah, blah, blah. You don't go anywhere outside of that, because if you go outside of that, and outside of that usually means religion, sexual orientation, color of skin, that kind of thing. In a normal society, you have the perfection of what a woman is supposed to be, what a man is supposed to be. American society has dictated that across the world. And when you look at every country on the planet, you look at the ideas of, I want my skin lighter. I want to have blonde hair. I want to have this. I want to have that, because that's how we perceive normal society.
Oh, I don't know.
Because different is something
Sounds
that
boring
we
as
fear.
hell.
Because being different is not a part of normal society.
But David,
Because normal society is afraid of the things that they don't understand.
Yeah,
David,
exactly.
What do you think, David?
That sounds boring as hell to me.
Exactly.
I mean, if we all
That's
walked
my
around with
little
blonde hair,
stance.
blue eyes, and had a mom and a dad, I mean, that's first of all, that's not a family.
It wouldn't be
anymore.
normal. It would be same.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I would challenge that theory that you have a mom and you have a dad. I would challenge that to be you have a set of parents. They don't have to be moms and a dad. It can be moms or dads,
Right.
And you have kids who are raised today by 2 moms and 2 dads, and that's normal for them.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
Because the average is changing. There are more mom and mom couples raising kids. There are more
right.
dad and dad.
That's
And so
sort of-
as that gets added to the pool of data,
But that's not part of normal society.
Well,
Normal
it's
societies-
becoming. I think what I think you're like focusing on one part of that. You're saying like a mom and a dad is normal.
Normal when
I'm
you
saying
came up.
right, and what I'm saying is
not what I came up with. What society has come up.
no. That's what I'm saying.
society
I don't.
nowadays is a moving
a
target.
set of parents. It's a set of parents. It's
Right.
you're narrowing it down to a male and a female, whereas I'm saying I'm not giving it. It's pretty much. It could be 2 males, it could be 2 females. It could be there are families out there that have 3 or 4 people as parents. It's just
So we're basically,
and that's normal to them.
Yeah. So we're basically redefining, especially at this table, what the idea of normal society is, because we are really redefining that.
I don't think that you can't define normal. Normal is up to interpretation. Normal is where you live.
Mm-hmm.
Normal is, for instance, when I was a kid, we had next door neighbors
Mm-hmm.
who were nudists.
And that felt normal.
And guess what? That was normal for them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we lived in Florida. And I'm not kidding. And I told you this. I've probably told this story on this show. We had the first time I knew I was gay was because of my next door neighbors who were nudists. Because their 16-year-old boy in that family, we were invited to a birthday party.
And you were
Everybody had
16
their clothes
too?
on.
You were 16 too?
No, I was 8.
Oh, okay.
No, shit. I was 6.
Okay.
Everybody had their clothes on at this party, at the birthday party. And this 16-year-old guy walks in nothing but a pair of fishnet underwear. And I was just enthralled. I was like, how you doing?
And that was probably normal to him.
It was normal. It was normal. That's what I'm saying. Normal is where you are, who you are, where you live. That's normal.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a different normal.
But when it comes down to
So-
a government-sanctioned idea of what normal is, and we do live in a government-sanctioned idea of, yes, we do.
I don't feel that way. But anyway, go ahead.
We do live in a government-sanctioned idea of what normal is. Normal is, in American society, is a man, a woman, they have 2.5 kids, a dog, a house. They live in the suburbs.
Joel,
That's what they
that's
do.
not. That's not.
I don't see that. You know, just the
No,
other day I
But
was
I
watching.
love the fact that we are having this conversation because we're now redefining the idea of what that is. Because that was an old idea. And that's been an old idea for quite some time.
I don't think
Yeah.
that's. I don't think that's.
Well,
Mhm.
in saying that the average family, another mathematical extrapolation of data, has 2.5 kids. Name me one family that you've ever seen
That's half a
a
kid.
0.5 kid.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a culmination of this data and the
I mean, but
the
that's
status quo.
That's more like a mean and average. I mean, that's not really.
and that's where normal comes from.
Mm-hmm.
We just say it is more normal.
No, I
and now
get
there
that.
are things that are normal that weren't. And
Yeah,
it has been an evolution.
So now
of our
we're
society.
looking at a different idea of what normal is, and
Right.
when it comes to the idea of incorporating, and we are incorporating in a normal society,
Right. The trick to that is
the
everything is normal.
idea of
That's how
the
you get to normal.
LGBTQ and incorporating new ideas from the heterosexual community about not wanting to have kids,
Key parties.
not wanting to be single, wanting to do things that
circa 1975.
that you want to do
So
on your
we're in
own,
the wrong era.
especially with women.
You were,
with
really.
women coming around saying that
Bit
I
old soul.
don't want to have kids. I want to be on my own. I want to be this person. Now we're not looking at a normal society anymore. Now we're looking at a society that is evolving and changing.
But that's the thing.
So normality does not work anymore in a normal society. When
Because so psychologically, every individual at a certain stage in their life of their childhood development, I say that because a person's notion of homeostasis and normal and comfortable
yes.
is established prior to being 18. So psychologically, you establish a state of normal and safe, and it only changes as it changes in you. Because that's something you know, something that you're aware of, you're not afraid of, et cetera, et cetera. And so, like, human nature tells us that these are normal things. And depending on what kind of environment you're put in, you either, I mean, you could
It
be
shapes
put,
your definition of normal.
right. Well, and or usual. Because you could be in a situation and spend decades in this situation. You know, you think of kids who are abused for years and years and years and years, and that's usual for them.
right.
But it's not normal.
But that's their normal.
It's not
And
that- it's their
no,
usual.
Their
they could be-
usual, which is sort of.
But they know it's not
interpreted
normal.
As their no, perhaps
They know it's
don't.
not normal.
No, perhaps they don't. That's what I'm saying. Normal is up to interpretation.
Absolutely.
It really is. So, like I was
I alluded to the nudist family.
Right.
Their abnormal was us coming over, and their son decided, you know what, this is normal for me. And I was glad he did. But hey.
So as a society,
you were a pervert from a young age. Is that what you're saying?
On a society that is based on the idea of what is normal human behavior and who we are supposed to be.
16.
For people who are standing outside of that crowd, and by the way, that really encompasses not just us as LGBTQI community, that encompasses the entire world.
In the data.
The fact of the matter is that we are starting to look at the idea that the idea of a normal family is not the normal thing anymore.
Thank God.
We're looking at the idea of a normal human being.
We're taking the focus away from socioeconomic status.
Yes, exactly.
And race and creed, color, sexual orientation, and moving it towards safe. And are you riding in between the lines of like your civil liberties? I mean, as a country specifically, because there are countries that don't have those, but like we are more literally translating those things that are meant to govern our society on this, in this country, and say, if you're not doing one of those things, then I guess, we stopped policing and regimenting those things and restricting those things and moved on to like, okay, well, we can't keep men from wearing women's clothing, so we're not going to worry about it. They're not hurting anyone.
Nope.
They're expressing themselves. They have these certain unalienable rights. So we're no longer going to pay any attention or focus to it.
They have the inalienable right to do whatever the fuck they want to, but
here we go.
Don't go in the bathroom, girl. It's because if you go in the bathroom and you're in a woman, don't go to the ladies' room and all this bullshit.
Back when we were younger, we always went to the ladies' room all the time.
Kidding? I've never been to
a gay bar.
I've never been to a gay bar that I didn't go to the ladies' room.
No, we always.
The ladies' room has a lock on the door, bitch.
Thank you.
At the mining company.
So when you're in there doing those things you shouldn't be doing.
Well, I'm being
when you want to do a key bump,
that's what I was referring to. Not you would be a key shot. I don't know what he's talking about.
And knocking your coke off the key,
getting thrown in the toilet, and then getting thrown out of heaven by the same person you bought the shit from.
No.
Okay, that's a long story. Exactly. That's exactly how it happened.
I would say this for those instances, we literally kept women out of those situations because yes, we had a women's restroom, but we kept women out of those situations because we needed a place where we could just like.
What gay bars you going to? The women use those restrooms just like we did.
First of all,
it's more of a courtesy than a policy.
Sure.
You guys literally described the idea of being able to go into a restroom and do a bump.
Okay.
In privacy.
Okay, in privacy. I don't understand.
You couldn't do that
it's
in
really
the
more
men's
security.
restroom.
That's really what it
You couldn't do
was.
it in the men's restroom, and the reason why you couldn't do it in the men's restroom is
everybody
wanted some.
That's right.
So you went to the women's restroom because
you could lock the doors.
Women were limited or not allowed to be in the bar.
Mm-hmm.
If they were allowed to be in the bar, it was because they were with a gay friend.
I remember when Pacific Street wouldn't allow women at all.
Women would not work.
Pacific Street Station back in the day, if you had a purse, and they would harass women.
Mm-hmm.
Mining company.
Let me see. They would say,
and it was retaliatory.
Oh no, the mining company. I've never.
No, mining company. No.
Ever.
I took a woman into the mining company once, and they said no. She can't come in here.
Yeah,
I've seen that at Ripcord
back
too.
In the day. But you know what? The Ripcord. Oh man, I miss
Ripcord used to have a dress code.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I had a Pacific Street Station story.
Unless they were
short. This woman walked up and she's
fetish related.
There was a cover charge or whatever. Anyway, he said, "Can I see your ID?" And she pulled out a purse. He goes, "Oh, no purse is allowed." And she's like, "What do you mean no purse is allowed? It's where I keep all my stuff. This is my purse." And he said, "Keep all your stuff in your car, but you can't come in here with a purse."
Like that drag queen has a purse.
So and that's not cool. I don't think that's cool.
So
but I do love the women's room.
Here's the question: how do we, as gay men, become a member of the dominant society? When the dominant society is heterosexual, focused on family only, and they are pretty much
They're-
focused on.
I know,
I
guys.
don't feel that.
I don't either.
I don't feel any pressure to start a family.
I feel
How
fine.
do we-
I will never have kids, and I'm okay with that. That's 2.5 less
don't
abused
think
children in the
Yeah,
world.
but,
We already
yes,
have.
but
Thank God.
there are members of the heterosexual
If there is
have
one,
kids.
if
But
there is
there
a
are
God, thank
members of
God.
the heterosexual community that don't want to do that too, and they feel like that when they try to say, "Hey, I'm married, but we don't want to have kids," and they literally have to deal with the society that
I have
says that
relatives who don't have kids, and they're
to
perfectly okay
have-
with that.
You have to have children to be a part of our society.
That's bullshit.
I don't hear that or
Any of that.
But I hear it a lot.
Because my sister is married, and they've been married for 30 years now, and she has no children, and she didn't get any flack.
And I have relatives who don't have kids, and that's
But
normal for
gay
them.
men- But gay men, the fun thing
it's on their
is
shoulders to
about
procreate.
where we
and
are right
keep
now.
Mm-hmm.
The fun thing about being gay is I really don't think that many people give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
That's the only fun thing
Well-
about being gay.
Yeah, well,
And I'm gonna.
Well, we know how Pinky
not,
feels.
I'm not a
Wait.
prude. I'm just not getting laid.
Does
Fair
this
enough.
also mean that as gay men at the table, do we give up certain things to be a part of normal society?
I ain't giving up shit.
What do we give up? I mean, I haven't been asked to give anything
I
up.
haven't given anything else.
I haven't had any responsibility
I have-
placed on my shoulders
you know,
by
and-
society
and
to
you- if
do
you look
anything
at-
but obey the law.
If
like
you look at
anybody
what's
else.
normal, I own a house,
Then you're never.
so I'm single and I'm gay,
Mhm.
and I own a house. Is that normal? It's normal for me. I'm fine with
Yeah,
that.
it's normal for
Well, I
you.
mean, right? A
So-
white
Is it normal? Is
man of your
Why?
age.
Why does he have to be white?
Because
he was
white.
born
He is
white.
white.
Well, you just made a point of him being
Well, right.
white.
He's trying to make a point, though.
Why?
What I'm saying-
no, but he's
but what
talking
I'm
about what
saying
normal
is-
is.
There are an infinite number of filters that we put on normal.
Misperceptions.
Our social economic, place for a gentleman who is white of his age, gay or straight, a man of his age, period. Now,
I'd like for him
white
to be a
or-
man. I don't understand
What, David,
where
you are a
color
man,
comes
right?
in.
I am.
Okay,
I don't
So-
understand where color comes in, but I'd like for him to be
because
a
that's
man.
how they
Because he is
take,
a man.
when they take the census, they ask you what your race is.
Oh, I don't have a problem with that. Census has to
Right, and that's where
know
they
something.
That's what they extrapolate the data from. That's how we know that
do we get into
a
this?
white
2.5
male
children.
of his
The
age,
census debate.
because that's what dictates normal. That's how we know the average family has 2.5 kids.
Nobody can dictate normal. That's what I say.
Well,
That's,
but- and it's-
I have the opinion
I'm
that
not-
nobody can dictate normal.
It is
I know
normal, but
normal
it's
is
just
where-
like saying on
where you
average. You can dictate an average. You
Yeah,
can say
I-
this is the average. People interpret and want normal to mean
You can
one
calculate an
specific
average,
thing.
but you can't dictate an average.
Well, no, it is the average. You can dictate it. It's math. It can't be one way or the other. It's just is.
It is what it is.
So, and normal is that factor that you come to after taking all that data, extrapolating it all, and dividing it. And the thing is there are an uncountable number of factors that make up one individual.
Mm-hmm.
And even, and you can't say a bigger, infinite number that make up a body of people who have one thing in common.
Right.
But that's how we do it. And that's why we have this constraint on what normal is. Because we say the average white male of 50 years old, the average white male in this age group, the average black male in this age group, the average gay male in this age group. Because we take those one things that it's easy for us to group them together and divide the numbers and create normal, i.e., the average. Mm-hmm. And people want to apply that as a constraint and say that normal is
So if you
this. It's a moving target. It's a number. It's always changing.
so you don't fall within this small space, then you're somewhere else.
Exactly. You're in the outer lying data.
Abnormal.
Exactly.
But
You're
you also make up the normal.
Mm-hmm.
You
I'm
are part of the
skewed.
normal because the
I
normal.
like being a skew. It's a
And you
fun
should.
title.
That's 100% my stance. Because you can't get if all the numbers, if you add up 43 9 times, divided by 9, what do you get?
43.
It's the same. It's not a normal. It's not an average. It's just the same. So in order for normal to exist, it takes the infinite variations that are contained herein, at this table in this apartment complex.
Mm-hmm.
There are single white males in this complex. There are Hispanic families with multiple children. There are plenty of dog owners. There's a single black gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
And this complex makes up a body of normal.
Are you the only black person in this complex?
I think I am.
I didn't say he is the only. I said there is.
I think I might be.
But there's Hispanic.
Kind of cool.
There's Hispanic, white.
Yeah, after talking to
I like that.
Yeah, well, after talking to all the neighbors, I realized that I am probably the only black person that lives in this apartment complex.
Yeah. Oh, wow. But there's nothing abnormal about living here.
No,
Even though there's only one Hispanic family that has multiple children.
I would be willing to bet, too,
I've seen
that...
only one single white male.
No, he is.
I've seen only one couple. And so there are all of these... And it's actually the perfect example of what makes up that normal. Because is there any kind of chaos here that happens?
No,
any kind of upset?
No,
it's normal.
If any chaos,
do you know why?
By the way,
Because there's all of those things divided by the number of the factors.
If any chaos
No,
happens,
because there's only one black person that lives.
if there's any chaos that happens, it's mostly on my part.
Not polite.
I was going to say I would be willing to bet that a lot of people never even thought of you as being black in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And most people don't these days.
I mean, it's just like
that is phasing out.
Who cares?
As normal changes.
Exactly.
You are.
Who the
Who
fuck cares?
You know?
What the fuck color anybody is?
Right.
I don't.
I want to know whether I want to know why the fuck you wore sweatpants out of the fucking house. I don't care if you're taking out your trash.
Sweatpants today.
I know. I just mean in general. Like, I don't judge somebody based on like their means or this or that. It's like,
girl, you walked out
and I
like
tell
that.
people that very plainly. I say, I'm not going to judge you based on what you do for a living, what you have as far as things go, but I will judge you if you wear cinched sweatpants out of the house. I don't care if you're checking the mail. You don't wear cinched sweatpants out of the house.
I'm so embarrassed because Pinky has actually taken me to the store in
Sweatpants.
And now he knows why I parked in the side lot.
Yes, exactly.
How embarrassing! But the truth is, I do that just to tease people. Jeans.
It's just me saying that I'm a fashionista, and those are the things that I'm worried about. I'm worried about what's fetching.
Fashion has left my life.
We know.
100 pounds ago, bitch. Don't start.
But I will say
100 pounds ago.
But I will say this as maybe, and I think this is the honest to God truth. As the only black person that lives in this apartment complex, and I'm not saying this apartment complex, so don't ask me what it is for those of you out there. The fact of the matter is that I feel
email me, I'll tell you.
The Sun-Kissed Tequila Rose on Main in Houston, Texas.
Yes, thank you. So the thing of it is that I don't want to be the black person,
the token,
in the
token black guy,
because
I just don't even.
It's a pain in the ass.
I don't think anybody looks at you as a token of anything.
I don't think that these people.
We've been friends for 100 years.
I have something really shady to say about that.
But as the only black person that probably lives in my, and it is true, as the only black person who lives in my apartment complex, I have to make sure that all the stuff is done right. I have to make sure. I don't want to be the reason why other black people can't get here. I want to make sure. No. I really do.
This is not going to happen.
No, but this is how I feel.
It could. To say it won't happen is would be ignorant.
Don't feel that way.
No.
All right, let me say something.
It can happen.
Let me say something right now.
Let me finish. Let me finish my statement.
And I'm going to say what
I don't want to feel like that. I feel like this when I go to work. When everything that I do, I don't want to be the black person that everybody goes, oh, well, we can't have a black person in this building because that black person did this. I don't want to be that black person. I want to make sure that I do all the stuff right.
I think that if anyone ever asks you that question and why you do that, then you don't give that answer. You just, and you kind of initiate this switch.
What question is he being asked?
why he holds himself to the standards he does.
Because
We
I want to
believe
say,
at the level
you
that-
know why?
I'm saying,
You know why? Because
if somebody
I want-
ever asks you that,
No, because the reason why I do that
quit
is
relating that. Because that's what perpetuates it.
No, the reason why I do it, and it is really the biggest reason why I do it, because I want to make sure and honestly, this is the honest to God truth. I want to make sure that if another black person lives in this apartment building, that they will not be judged the way that I'm judged. I don't want to do that.
Do you do anything extra special?
Look, there could be other white people that live in this building. If they didn't pay their rent on time, if they didn't do all that stuff on time, they'll be fine. There'll be another white person that lives here. But as a black person, I feel like that if I mess up in any way, shape, or form, another black person will not be here.
I feel like you have a racist landlord. If you feel that
No,
way.
he doesn't. He feels that way personally.
But and I understand
He's not
the
talking
mission
about his
to,
landlord.
Mm-hmm.
and I as a
But I
gay
think
try
that's
to
a horrible
not
burden,
let
don't
gay
you?
be the one thing that defines me,
But
as
this
you're
is-
not letting black be the one thing that defines you
but
or
this-
your
No,
people.
he doesn't let black.
I
be the one
understand. That's
thing
what I'm
that defines-
saying.
Yeah,
He's refusing to
Oh, man.
let that be the thing that
that
defines
is
him.
not
Yeah, exactly.
cool.
And I would say that if that ever comes up, that I feel like saying that's the reason you do it almost makes it seem like there is something else to make up for, and there's not.
No.
For black people, as a people, I feel like you are burdening yourself and taking on extra when there's no risk. There's nothing wrong with the majority of other black people.
You know,
And racist dickheads who would make that
Yeah, exactly.
that association
that's
are going to phase out as well. Those people are ending their time on
But I
this
will
earth.
say this. I will say this.
Thank goodness.
As there were some expensive townhomes right down the street from my house, and I saw a black family coming out of the house, and we were all talking and everything else, and he literally vocalized the same thing that I vocalized. We can't be. If we mess up, if we do anything else like that, then
It's automatically tagged as black.
Yeah, exactly. We're automatically. So if another black family or another black person wanted to live here, I don't want them.
Right. Hashtag human.
Yeah, and
Everybody does it.
But on the same token, if a white person messes up and does something else, they're still going to get.
Right.
White people are still going to get in there.
Right. And that's just because that was the normal.
Mm-hmm.
And as the new data comes in, and as these normals start changing, and as that starts getting extrapolated and calculated and put out there, and more people perceive it and see it and are exposed to it in its bare, unadulterated, racist, unsexist, whatever, without the rose-colored glasses. It becomes the new normal,
I've never understood,
and that will die out.
And I
you won't feel like you have to do that.
And
anymore.
I realize that when I'm talking to you guys, when I'm talking to you guys about this stuff, it really comes from a place of I've literally had to come behind another black person who might have done something bad, and I've been rejected automatically. And the fact of the matter is even if my credit score is great, even if I have the money to pay the rent and everything else, the fact of the matter is that sometimes, because of the color of my skin, sometimes, it doesn't happen often, but sometimes because of the color of my skin, I have to be better than that. I have been taught that way.
You have to train harder.
I have to train harder. I have to work harder because I have to make sure that I don't
established
leave a bad
reputation
impression.
that you're having to deal with. I mean, just like I have to deal with, I get perceived as a young, rich, white twink. And all of the things
I thought you were rich.
I can get the twink part.
No, I'm just.
I used to be
I'm
rich.
joking.
I used to be rich.
I don't
I
know.
used,
if
I
you're
used to
rich.
live. I used to live a life.
Rich.
Well, I used to
rich.
drive a bright red, brand new Mercedes Benz SUV, and wear suits to work and work at fancy hotels
boring.
and all of that.
They lease those cars, by
Right.
the way.
Oh no, I leased it on ill advice. I wish I had bought it, but those And the thing is to just press on. And there's that reason that those things, like saying press on and just do it, and these things that promote progress, and progress in its definition establishes moving forward, is that you dilute those reputations that have been left by those before you who are no longer.
Yeah, exactly.
But
it's still, like I said, it's harder. It really is harder when it's, like I said, a white person could be selling drugs in this house, doing all this other stuff, gets kicked out, and another white person will be right in his place.
Yeah, I mean, and part of that is plain mathematics.
Forgets to pay rent one time a month, and then suddenly we're all blacklisted. And I'm like, are you serious?
That's one individual.
That was one individual.
How are we all we?
But that's the thing. That it was one. It was one individual who did that to one individual.
Exactly.
So that one individual who is discriminating against those people based on that one experience he had, one is not a very bright individual.
No,
not a very worldly individual. And not long for this earth. None of us are.
It's a society we have to live in, and
it's changing.
It is changing. It really is changing. And it really is. It really is changing. And
that's where we take our comfort.
And thankfully enough, because of the internet,
getting to super easy.
Really starting to change a lot more. It's really starting to change a lot more because now I'm seeing people stand up and say, no, we're not going to do that anymore.
Because we're not just going by what mom and dad told us. We don't just have access to the channels mom and dad wanted us to have access to. And
mom
what our
and
parents
dad told me not to come on this show, but I'm here.
Exactly, because we no longer have to do what our parents wanted us to do until the day we die. And there's no shame associated in that. And that's the progression.
Yes, exactly. And now that because it's happening, and because the internet is around the world, and there are countries that are really trying so hard, this is why we're still being listened to. Why we're still being listened to in countries that
that's what the internet is for.
Yeah, that we weren't supposed to be listened to in.
That's what I
The fact of the matter is that when people start to see other people trying to do their thing, and they see that now, they see it more.
They see
us
succeeding. We see we standing in the face of
normal
adversity.
Society is
and changing normal.
It's changing. It is changing.
diluting their numbers.
And Joel has actually caused several civil wars around the world.
I hope
with
so.
His rhetoric.
He doesn't just get people stoned in Houston, y'all.
By the way, if you're in
Russia,
once again, Saudi Arabia, that one or two people who might be listening to us in Saudi Arabia, you keep that shit going. Keep that shit going.
Keep that shit going.
Keep it going.
And that boy who says he's straight, but lets you suck him off.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not straight.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
He'll come out eventually, girl.
I don't know from boys because I don't do boys, but if you got that.
Oh, by the way, if you're listening in Saudi Arabia, listen to Tops Up, Bottoms Down, so you can learn some stuff because you need to learn some stuff. Are you saying that
people in Saudi Arabia have dirty butts?
No, I'm saying that Saudi Arabia.
Oh my gosh!
Where did that come from?
Yes, man.
That is actually
man, because Randy and I had a very lovely discussion about how to teach.
I have a sure shot attached to my shower.
Oh my
It's a permanent fixture.
I like a man in a tunic, but you better have your kitchen clean.
Oh Lord, here we go again with the kitchen.
So,
again, we didn't deny the
His kitchen is clean, I'm sure.
Pinky, take us out the break.
All right, y'all. We're gonna give this a little bit of a rest, and hang on. We'll be back.
And we're back. This is Randy, and I'm very excited to have our friend David White
My eyes are
here
rolling.
to discuss asexuality, which frankly I'm intrigued about. Girl, I don't know nothing about birthing no babies, honey.
I don't know what.
I don't know where asexual.
Neither does somebody who's asexual.
Exactly.
That was a quote from Gone with the Fucking Wind. Seriously.
Yeah, but
Not an asexual person?
No! It was just a random quote. Fair enough. It was supposed to be funny. God bless America. That's what I'm here for.
Most of the time they're relevant. I'm teasing you, bitch.
We love you.
Kind word.
She give me that eyebrow.
I know.
The death brow. Like,
I know.
Death brow.
Death brow.
I gave her the Joan Crawford brow because she deserved it. Because that is what I'm here for.
I feel like that I need to get a fan for this. I know. I feel like I need to open up a fan and go.
Shout out to CC, Bear and
there will be a barbecue at 12 Oaks this evening.
But yeah, Blanche, yeah. Whatever happened to Baby Jane? One of the best movies
what
ever.
What are we going to say? What questions do we have for David? We are putting this motherfucker on the spot.
My biggest question, I think, is it's like a two-part thing. So, how did you come to that conclusion? And like, was it due to a forum that you happened upon?
I did stumble across it. I don't think that, like how to explain this. First of all, I grew up in a hypersexual gay community. And so in order to, I'm going to answer your question, but I'm going to go backwards first.
Right, no, you're good.
Like, you can't be gay unless you have sex. You have to have a lot of sex you have to have a lot of sex. So, that's what I said last week. I did a lot of drugs and I drank a lot, and I just never really enjoyed it. But I just kind of I stumbled across it. I was doing research for something different for work, and I happened to come across it. And it's like when you watch YouTube and you're looking for one thing, 15 minutes later you're lost, you forgot what you're looking for. Yes, that's exactly.
I normally associate that with Tumblr and like clicking one naked picture, and then suddenly I'm
don't know why you're here.
Pokemon porn.
Right. Exactly. So that's
kind of Pokemon porn.
I don't know how I got there. I originally clicked on a picture of a guy eating an ice cream.
Exactly. So
I didn't know
David's telling his truth. So
that's exactly what it's like, though. It's like
getting exactly.
So I don't know how. I think it was put in front of me for a reason. I guess, to put it that way.
Right.
And I was it startled me and kind of like, oh, what is this? And I read it and I was like, oh, this kind of sounds strangely familiar. And I read it and I was like, and I was like, when I'm focused on something, I'm like super focused, I'm like sink myself into it. And it just, it was a website which led to other websites which answered even more questions. And I was like, questions that I didn't know I had questions for,
right.
I didn't know I was.
But it resonated with you, and
I was like, oh,
it felt more and more right as you progressed through it,
right?
And I don't want to make you uncomfortable asking this, but for potential listeners who may, who else that might resonate with, is there like a final source that you came to like the most valuable answers? I mean, is there a website that you could give?
It's the AVEN website, aven.org, I want to say. I'm not sure what that.
Okay.
Asexuality Visibility Education Network.
Okay.
And
awesome.
That's actually like our home's website, so to speak, I guess, and it's kind of that's where they have forums and you can chat with people.
Human rights campaign.
Yeah, exactly. And they used to have an IRC chat where you talk to other people, and and it was just I learned a lot. I was kind of watching people and seeing what they were saying, and there would you get some people on there go, well, how can you consider yourself? Because my avatar was like gay, was a gay flag, and about half, and then the other half was the the asexual flag, which is gray, purple, and black. And so people would go, how can you be both at the same time? And I'm like, how can you not be? I mean, it's who determines that that's not okay,
Right. If you do have a peak in mental interest, it happens to be with men. Because there is that chemistry. Those pheromones respond better with you naturally than.
But doesn't it harken back to the fact that the show is about normalcy? That is your normal.
That's my normal. I don't. Yeah. And it's and I talked about this last week. It's so my normal that I'll explain things to Joel, and Joel sees that as somebody trying to come on to me, and I'm like not even programmed to think like that. I'm thinking something completely different, and it's what normal is for me.
Who you are.
It's who I am.
I think who you are is normal, and I love.
I wish I'd realized it at a much earlier age. Really. Yeah, but
I love the fact that you do know who you are. And
some people come out at at the age of 50.
Right. And most of it happens because they aren't aware that it's okay.
Right. And you just kind of think about
that it even exists.
Right. And you just really you don't. First thing is you admit it to yourself, which is probably the hardest part. It's like, oh, is that me? I think that's me. I don't think that's me. Maybe it is me. And you just do this tug of war in your head,
Because of, a pre-established self-image
and that's not
of normal.
And that's not
and what's
normal.
okay.
So,
Right.
What do they call it? The social mores.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah. Of homosexuality or heterosexuality.
Societal norms.
Societal norms. I just wanted to say more.
I don't know what that word means, but we'll
It's
go with
Italian. It's Italian, I believe.
It sounds kind of French.
I think
I just wanted to say more.
Well, that's Amore is
That's
an Italian song for love, I think.
No, there's a more thing other than that. I don't
Povich?
know. Like I said, I just wanted to say more.
There's nothing wrong with loving Italian.
So,
Nothing.
I love
David,
Italian.
here's the question I want to ask you. Is it possible to find people in your group, so to speak?
My group? What is that?
Yeah, well,
You
the
people.
idea,
Your people?
yes. Well, the idea of
People like me?
yes, people like you, where
She's right there, y'all.
She's just stumbling all over
I
herself,
know,
isn't she?
I know, I'm not stumbling over
All the way to the
anything.
ankle.
Girl,
I'm
if anyone knows
literally-
anything about you people, it's Joe.
I'm not literally thinking about that. It's more in the lines of, David, how do you feel about the idea of maybe finding people in who feel the
Life side
same
up.
way that you do
Squeeze.
and are able to reach out to each other when they can?
First of all, we're very lonely people because there's a study say that there's only 1% of
Oh,
people.
you're the 1%
We're the
I've been
1%.
hearing about on the
the
news.
1%ers. Yes, we're the 1%ers. But it's like I said, there's 300 million people in the country, and if 1% of us identifies as asexual, that's 3 million. That's the population of the city of Houston.
Okay,
So-
You hear that, listeners?
I hate to interrupt you, but when you said 1%ers, my Southern Baptist brain said 1%ers.
Sinners.
I'm not
One
a Southern
percenters.
Baptist. I don't believe
Got
in
it.
organized religion. No, I was just having fun with it.
Girl.
God.
Now having
Okay,
Now
so
not having sex
now-
is a sin.
No, it's not a sin. It's not a sin.
I'm
just
teasing.
saying.
I'm teasing.
I was joking.
But
My
through-
gosh,
anyway-
it's my
Other than
joke.
Amen, did you find other ways to connect with other people who were asexual?
through the internet, yes. Up close in what are they?
Or through
IRL. Yeah, but IRL, not really, because a lot of people don't know what it is. Honestly, a lot of people just don't know what it is. You're asexual, does that mean you have sex with, like, flowers,
Oh, God.
Like, what? Because, flowers are asexual. They reproduce asexually.
Right.
Now, like,
It's like,
first of all, I'm not reproducing anything.
You need
okay,
to
so
study your prefixes.
Yes.
What
So,
the hell? Really? Flowers?
you hear that all the
If you
time.
preface a word
Yes,
with
you do.
I
A,
think
it
flower
means
Yeah,
sex
plants and
would be-
flowers.
I think flower sex would be rather comfortable, actually.
You
Well,
want
it
to have
depends on
sex
your
with a
No,
flower.
I
flower?
don't have sex with a flower. I'm just saying. There's no
It
harm
depends
in
on your
that.
pollen allergy.
That would, yes.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't do it.
So,
That could get nasty.
So to answer your question, I actually do not know in real life any other asexuals, and that's fine. It is what it is. I'm okay with that. I know I exist, and I know they exist too. A lot of people
You're
are,
not alone.
yeah. A lot of people are not. They're afraid to come out as because it's the same thing when you come out as you're gay. People don't accept it or whatever. And so if you go onto the boards and you go to the chat rooms and you see these people, and their folks are like, they're people who are like, oh, I could never come out to my family, or they're like real nerdy people, and so they can't escape the reality of their comic books, or they're just
Right.
because they're afraid it's their escape mechanism for them. And I don't think I have an escape mechanism, so it's just kind of
You
because
just
believe me,
haven't
being a
found the
nerd
right
in comic
comic
books, or
books
something,
yet.
maybe that's it. I've found the right comic books.
Try manga.
We could take that a bunch of different ways. I remember when I was first coming out, I was
Graphic
told
novels.
when I was first coming out as gay, I had found the right girl, and then when I came out as asexual, I haven't
Exactly.
found the right man, and now I haven't found the right comic books either.
You haven't found the right toaster.
That's it. God,
And
I just need
Joel,
one more too.
why
I got a
don't-
toaster oven.
Joel, talk about the comic book situation.
No. I
got a
don't
quiz on
want
it.
to talk about the comic book situation. I want to.
That's not to say if you
I
read comic books,
really-
you're asexual. I'm not saying that.
I really want to
They
ask this
just don't have
question.
sex.
What is homo? I think you said
romantic.
Romantic, and you need to explain that.
Well, for everything, there's a spectrum. You talked about the Kinsey scale last week. I'm not a huge fan of the Kinsey scale for what it is, but it does exist. It did exist, and it is what it is. But I think that well, it's the same thing as the Kinsey scale, basically. If you look at, first of all, there's different on the asexual spectrum. There's asexual, there's demisexual, there's gray sexual, and they each have their own different terms. One, I don't know which is which, so forgive me, but one is they're asexual until they create a romantic bond, and then the other one is they're asexual, but they're sort of asexual, but they're not really sure. So it's kind of in the middle,
right?
And then within each one of them, there's a spectrum of that. And so you look at there are people who are aromantic, who they have no romantic feelings towards anything at all. And then you would have people who are like heteroromantic, biromantic. I mean, you could be what's the word I'm looking for? Homoromantic, aromantic, biromantic. You could be anything romantic, really, and that's just kind of and it's just kind of where you fall. For me, it was I consider myself pan-romantic, trans-romantic. I mean, there's and I think that same spectrum falls on just about anywhere. I don't know about all that part, but I think that spectrum could apply to anything, anywhere. So
I don't know from.
That's how I know things are changing. Is porn on XTube is different on the homepage.
I'm lost for words.
I noticed. That's the first time I've known you.
She said no sex.
When you said porn.
Trans porn. Trans romantic porn. I never seen any of that. That could be interesting.
It's super boring.
I bet it's
super boring.
And more than regular checkers, they love Chinese checkers.
Oh, Lord.
I don't know how to play Chinese checkers.
It's a lot like regular checkers.
But Chinese...
But there's
marbles.
There's six of them.
I'm not
use
sure
marbles.
That's not racist.
It is not racist.
That's a real game.
It's
a real game.
Do the Chinese people know about it?
I don't know, but it's a real game.
It's Chinese checkers. It's like saying Chinese food. Saying it's Chinese food is racist. It's of their people.
Not racist.
Neither is saying Chinese checkers.
There's too much sodium. I can't eat it. But
it's not the sodium that'll kill you. It's MSG.
Girl, I got that high blood. I can't eat Chinese food.
I can eat Chinese food all day long. And Mexican food, too.
Don't get my high blood started.
And
see, I had a Chinaman.
A man from Asia.
Okay, that would be
racist. A man from Asia. I was horny 3 hours later.
So where are we at right now when it comes to explaining this?
I consider myself to be a homoromantic asexual ace.
Ace,
so,
which I love. That you guys have not only made your place known and got
our own nickname for us
and said that it's normal. You guys have a tag, we're gays, we're queers, we're all of these things, and I think it's nice that you guys established it, and it wasn't something that was placed on you as saying fag. Fag was put on us, or
you and I discussed the whole fag thing.
Unless you want to taste pavement, don't call me a fag. But
yeah,
but that's because it was placed on us by another group. So I think that it's awesome that you guys have figured out and established your group as a people, and that society and normal has allowed that to happen without you guys having to be who somebody else says you are. And you guys are aces by your own dictation.
So may I say this? I don't like the idea of that. I like the fact that David is still a member of society. He is still a gay man.
He's still on the homosexual spectrum.
Yeah, he just
lands in the homo-romantic portion of
erotica. I don't like the idea.
You know how I feel.
I really don't like the idea
homo relations.
I think Joel and I are on the same page. I don't like the LGBT. The truth is, can't we just be folks?
That's what I said. I look forward to one day when there's no more pride. There's no more. We don't have a reason for a pride parade. We're not going to need it. I get why we do it, But I'm looking forward to the day when we just don't do it anymore.
I feel like you expressed something very different when we talked a couple of episodes about why Pride had moved. Mm-hmm. And now you're expressing
and by the way,
the idea that no Pride would be. I'm there. I understand.
My issue with Pride 100%. Moving is
it's not a Bohemian Art Fest anymore.
Lord,
and we should have a Bohemian Art Fest.
I'm not going to say it again,
every city,
but I am going to say it again. My problem is the city took over, made it Houston Pride, Civic Pride,
Houston.
Fuck.
Thank you.
Civic Pride.
I don't. So you want
Civic Pride
to fit in, but not be proud of your.
No, this is about Stonewall. This is about what happened at Stonewall. Mm-hmm. Gay Pride is about something, and for the city of Houston to take it over and trivialize it as a civic pride celebration, fuck you.
But
that was my point.
That's our aim.
No, it's not.
Is it just be a part of society?
Yes, it is. However,
just have civic pride.
However,
human
we have to accept that the same way that they have to accept us into their society.
We can have a moment. Can't we have one moment?
Would it be nice for those things to not need the moment? Yeah, we've had the moment for decades.
I agree.
And now we're just a part of Houston. That's what we strived for all this time.
Can I say this? Can I say this for once and for all? I really do want to say this for once and for all. We are a group of gay men sitting at a table. We are gay men. We are proud gay men. And for the first time in a long time, that is not
so far away.
Look, that has not been a thing for quite some time. And we're all different gay men. We are all completely different. Mm-hmm. We are 100% completely different. And I love the fact that David was able to share a story because we're different. We are different. And that's all different. Fine. Mm-hmm. But when we snap, when we roll, when we do all the stuff, we're still gay men. We are still gay men. Yeah. When we snap, roll, do all the stuff, we are still gay men. Regardless of the fact that we are different when it comes to that, we can still be different. It's just like the rest of the LGBTQIA plus MARLBORO. Yes. We can still be a part of a community that really supports each other.
I agree 100%.
We need to support each other, and we need to be able to say that it's okay to be ourselves in this community.
Blessed.
As an activist, as an artist, the piece of art that I brought here and has been over here in the recording studio since the day that I first met y'all.
Yes.
To describe it to the listener,
yes, here
it says "Dare to."
Yes.
Oh, her.
I did a 3-part art campaign that the inaugural portion was "I am me," the mid portion was "Dare to," and then the closing to that is "Be you." And so I am me, dare to be you. Mm-hmm. And it files into this whole philosophy I have about being minorities of one. Because segregating us into groups will always be segregation. Mm-hmm. Eliminating the ability to put more than one somebody in a group is actual equality.
You know what
to say there's one person versus one person versus one person versus an infinity of one people. There is no black people versus white people. There is no gay people versus straight people. There is this person and the rest of the people. And there is this person and the rest of the people.
You know what I'm loving right now? It's the fact that we are starting to understand who we are. And if we are to be a united gay community, and we have to be, with everything that's going on in the straight world, we have to be a united gay community. And I feel like that right now at this table, we are a united gay community.
I know that's right.
And even if we have our differences, we are a united gay community. We are a united gay community.
Absolutely.
And who we are, and that's who we're going to be.
Can I ask you this, and just to be, I guess, incendiary for the sake of conversation, are you any less a community with any of the straight people you know?
Good Lord, no. Do you realize?
So you're just a community.
Do you realize not just a gay community. This is the first time that I've actually started to realize when I look at the people at this table. When I look at the people at this table, and I realize that we are all different.
But do you see guys or do you see gay guys?
No, we're all guys. Different. We are all different. I'm looking at you, Pinky. I'm looking at David
and I'm
White.
Just a guy.
I'm looking at. We are all different.
Exactly.
And we are.
She's not looking at you, Randy.
No,
we are all different, and we have different beliefs and
infinitely different.
Else. And we are all different.
I'm a person.
We can come together and
calm down,
this
Randy.
Stuff.
Let's not go too far.
David brought it up.
Don't blame me.
Randy and his Chinese checkers.
I know.
I beg your pardon.
I know.
Okay.
But we are all
Asian checkers.
What does that mean? I know.
Checkers from Asia.
I have no idea what that means.
Staying out of this.
But we're still.
You brought it up.
To say that is like you don't make that.
Drop a bob and leave.
That distinguishing marker. There's no marker on us. Yes, you know we are gay men, but when you look out at us, we're just the guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when you're around straight guys, yes, there could be a cause to distinguish the fact that they are straight.
Come on.
But on large, they're just guys. You're just hanging out with guys, not straight guys or gay guys.
But as gay men, are we snapping, focusing, doing all this stuff? It's who we are.
Exactly. If you're a gay guy, if you're a guy
we're
who
gay
snaps,
men, and we're just doing our thing as gay men.
We're just men,
and we're having a good time.
Well,
I
think Miss Clara said it best back in the day. Blessed and you.
You got to ask. My jeans are not tight enough.
I feel like they are.
Oh no, they are. Nobody has ever asked me that.
No one has ever asked you that.
They know I'm blessed.
They're super tight.
I understand the illusion. I don't.
There's no illusion. Because you wouldn't have. You would know I was blessed.
What are you alluding to? I don't.
I'm not alluding to anything. It's literal. You said blessed, and you, and I said.
If you can't tell, then my jeans aren't tight enough.
Because if my jeans were tight enough, you would know I was blessed.
Okay, I'm the ace here, and you don't get it?
No, I get it.
Okay.
I'm just confused.
She's just throwing shade.
I'm just confused as to why he said it.
Why did you say it? I was going along with your... Is that just one of those random analogies, then?
Okay.
I was trying to play nice.
Okay,
I think playing nice. I'm sure you have a wonderful...
I'm going to shrink my jeans now.
Yes, I know. I think we need to...
Sure, she's seen
we
it.
need to end this show by saying that we have already figured out our stuff. We figured out that this is 4 gay men doing their stuff the way that they want to do it.
4 men.
4 men.
4 guys.
Who happen to be gay.
Who are living their lives. Who are
5.5 guys.
Who are living their lives the way that they want to. And this is exactly what being gay is. Living your life the way that you want to.
It's exactly what being an American.
No,
I mean, I hate to tout the American thing, but like living in this country is all about living the life that you want to live, so long as it doesn't impede.
We do have some folks out there who are suffering, as you know,
right? And they don't get to do that. So it's important to tell them to come bring their chubby butts over here.
Yeah, exactly.
The Saudi Arabians.
And I'll take your flour.
You know, like I said, bitch, bring that tunic over here.
I don't know about hairy butt. I have to
hairy
real
cheeks
quick before
are
I got
no
it.
problem for me.
I didn't say they were a problem. I mean, I have hairball medication.
Let's end the show.
Do anything with anybody's.
Let's end this show because we need to end it.
Oh, Lord.
Stick and focus.
We lost Saudi Arabia.
We lost Saudi Arabia a long time ago. These queens are drinking here. They can't drink in Saudi Arabia.
I'm a Brazilian, and they're like, fuck no.
I have no problem with Brazilians.
I don't either.
Do
Theirs
you
are
speak Brazilian?
bald.
No, but
Portuguese. I know what you're fixing to say.
I wasn't, but I was giving you that look like I did, and now I do know.
George's trying to end the show.
No, you guys.
All right.
We're cutting.
I had a boyfriend
y'all.
one time, and he kept telling me he wanted to learn Brazilian. I'm like,
And you know what?
you know that's not
Oh,
the language,
Lord.
right?
This is how the
I'm so
show
glad
ends.
that was one of those was situations.
This is how the show ends. We never stop the conversation.
Your show,
about-
it takes about 20 minutes for the show to end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We just
I've
rush
noticed.
out, and I'm like,
All right, we love all y'all to death, and
except you Trump supporters. We love.
we love
potentially
all y'all
love you.
to death.
If you just make the switch.
we're not going into politics. We have to do politics, please.
Oh, I could do a whole podcast
All right,
myself
you know
on
what?
that.
You know what? Here we go.
Gay politics.
If you ain't gonna be good,
Gay politics.
be good at it.
No, she's still.
Okay,
We're not
so
out.
here's how we're going to end this show. I'm going to end the show by saying, hey, to our followers, Carlos, you and I talked, and that was fantastic.
Hey.
Wait, what?
I don't know, but I'm intrigued.
What's your name?
Now I'm intrigued.
There's just something about a Latin man.
This is the same Carlos that friended me on
want to tell
Facebook?
our fans for listening to us
Who is this Carlos?
and coming here.
There was a
to
guy named Carlos who tried to friend me on
do that
Facebook. I wondered if this is
thing.
him.
So we were
I know the
listening
guy
to
is.
you, and Randy said he was going to do anything when it comes to millennials, and he did not, and that was fine.
What did I say about millennial?
You
Nothing, which was wonderful.
No,
I
I do
appreciate
not have
that.
a problem with fucking millennials.
Fucking
I love
millennials,
y'all. I
y'all.
love y'all.
Hashtag fucking
Shut
millennials.
up, Pinky.
and David is going to end the show
I
with.
can't stand one.
David's going to end the
Okay, I'll
show
end the show.
with. How are you going to end the show, David?
Bye.
Thank you for being a friend.
Bye is pretty succinct. I like
I mean, it takes care of everything. It covers all the bases.
Sing that song closer to the mic.
And I'm missing like that one little gap right there between you're a friend and a confidant. If you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me.
and the card attached would
Lord,
say,
Lord.
"Thank you for being a friend."
With benefits.
And we're gonna end the show with. We're gonna end the show with all the regulars here. Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
Thank you for having me
And
again.
by the way, everybody sing it. David, why?
I wish I had a nickel for every time I rolled my eyes at hearing that.
We're gonna end the show
He
with.
I wrote
had
it.
75 nickels, y'all.
I wrote that
At
song.
least.
We're gonna end the show with Pinky. Say goodnight, Pinky.
Good night, Pinky.
Say goodnight, Randy.
Good night, motherfuckers.
And we're going to end this show because this was a great show. We had a great time, and we did our thing. So listen to us on Spreaker.
iHeartRadio.
Bitch, I don't know.
She meant to say iTunes.
I don't know.
Say iTunes.
Okay.
Say iTunes.
Wait, hold on. If they're listening to this, don't you think they've already found
I don't have a
this?
computer.
I have no idea.
I
They have
David.
one preferred, and
David.
they're listening to
I
it
don't
on
have
one
a
that's
Maybe.
lesser.
computer,
That's fair.
David, can you say
A bunch of old queens are
Spotify?
arguing now.
Spotify.
And
Who the hell?
Pinky,
I don't
can-
own a computer. I don't know.
can you say
There's an after that.
Castbox?
Castbox?
Yes. So we're gonna end
Rock
this
the
show.
Castbox.
Rock the Castbox.
Oh, Lord.
It's Cashbox. You're on Cashbox?
Cass or cash?
Cast.
Castbox.
Castbox.
Rock
Like
your
friend-
Castbox.
Casper the Friendly Ghost?
Like Rudebox. Rudebox. I love Robbie Williams.
Mhm. Oh, one more shout out to YouTube, because for some reason we show up on YouTube. So
Thank you, YouTube.
Yeah, motherfucker, I'm the one who looks like a goddamn idiot every time they do not go on YouTube.
Are there videos of you on YouTube?
yes,
Are you fucking
yes, we
kidding
did.
me?
We did a little video on
No.
YouTube.
It's hard.
I must see.
Now we know how
horrible.
It's so hard. There are two. And
Now we know what we can do next week.
Listen,
Reaction
one is
show.
better than the other, but they're
It wasn't
both
saying much.
tragic.
Ooh, Lord.
Yes,
Anyways.
and
Are we still
We're
on?
watching.
We're still on.
Oh yeah, we're still,
We're still
on.
on. All right.
Oh.
All right. Goodbye, y'all.
Fuck off, y'all.
But listen.
Get off,
Bye,
get off
everybody.
our microphones.
Listen, the whole YouTube thing, motherfuckers, don't watch YouTube.
You know that's just going to be like, okay, he
That's
must.
like, don't press the red button.
It's like
Yeah,
episode
exactly.
fucking
It's like,
one.
I have no idea. Yes,
No, it's like
That's me
episode
saying,
one.
please don't come to Houston and fuck my brains
we
out.
were sitting on the couch going, "Oh, let's do a
Especially if you're from
YouTube
Saudi Arabia.
video."
Apparently.
Oh my God.
We were sitting on the couch going,
fuck
"Let's
their
do a
brains out.
YouTube video," and
Oh my
now,
God.
now
No.
it's
And now there's
it's
going to be a
Episode
huge
one
surge
actually
in
has
I
YouTube video
know,
searches.
I
All right,
know.
y'all,
Oh, Lord,
we're
y'all.
convoluting and talking
Yes,
over everybody.
exactly.
And
Let's
you know
end
what?
this.
Bye.
Oh,
We're gonna
bye.
watch YouTube.
The pitcher is
Bye,
empty, y'all. There's no more tea. It's
Girl,
all done been
YouTube
spilled.
is a hot mess.
If you ain't gonna be good, be good at it.
Somebody end this show.
Bye, y'all.